Hey y'all, I'm Todd Bailey.
What's up? It's Arie Lumberdozy.
And this is fucking Brewtal.
Get in the pit, stock up the fridge, and listen. We're here to cover the latest in metal news and craft beer. A match made in hell.
If it makes you bang your head, then we want to hear it. If it tickles your taste buds, share those suds.
Turn it up to 11.
Crack open that beer.
It's about to get brutal.
What is up, Hop Wolves? It's your boys, Arie and Todd, with episode 61 of Brewtal.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Happy New Year. It's the year 2023. Crazy enough to think that we're here. We made it through 2022, which was a great year in metal. We don't know how this year is going to be topped, but that's kind of what we're here for. We're going to kind of just shoot the shit, talk about trends, what we hope to see, who's on our radar for this year, and go at it. We're also going to do some beer reviews, by the way. Bringing those back, baby.
I do remember those. Good times. Good times. But yeah, dude, I'm really excited to get back into the swing of things again, swing into the pit. But yeah, let's just start off. Why don't you start us off with your beer, because I know you're super stoked about the one that you picked, and based on the pictures, looks very tasty.
Yeah, man. For those of you who are watching, I'm holding up the can right now. It's kind of like a pinkish, bluish tint to the can, and it's actually reflective if you start turning it, which is cool.
My fucking eyes, dude.
If you're listening, it's basically like an effect like stars are in the sky, which is dope. It's got their logo front and center. Unfortunately, there's no lightning or a wolf on the can, even though it's called Lightning Wolf, which is why I chose this for this podcast. Come on, Hop Wolves. It is a hazy IPA coming in at 6.8 ABV. And I'm so happy when I poured it out. Let me show you the end result of pouring it out. I have a glass here that looks like orange juice, and that's what I want to see when I have a hazy IPA. And that's actually been something I've criticized in Texas in the past, because their hazy IPAs aren't hazy. I can see through them. So I want to not be able to see anything. And that's what I have here so far. Let's do a taste test.
Breakfast of champions right there, even though it's the afternoon.
Full disclosure. Yeah. I joked with Arie, this is my morning orange juice for the day. Getting all those citrus notes and nutrients. Probably not the nutrients, but that's okay.
Oh, no, there's nutrients.
Don't doubt it. Anyway, this is super tasty. Full disclosure, this is my second glass I'm now on, and it's super tasty, man. Let me read what's on the side of the can just to give a glimpse of what this is. They say, Lightning Wolf, join the pack as Meridian, Strata, Azaka, Mosaic, and Citra team up to create a tropical IPA that simply oozes with flavors of mango, papaya, and citrus, light on bitterness, heavy on the juice, with just the right amount of haze to make you howl. Love it. Love it. Love it. I love that description.
Beautiful.
I'm very much picking up on the mango and papaya, which I'm super stoked about because I've had citrus. Everyone has had citrus. So I'm glad those other two are popping out on the forefront. And very true to the ABV. It's light on bitterness, which I appreciate because it's a good balance. It's not one or the others too much, and it makes for a pleasant sip. And I'm enjoying my second glass right now. So let's do this thing.
Hell yeah. We're starting off. It's going to get weird real fast. And maybe also for 2023, we'll both actually eat before we do this show. Probably not.
Maybe.
I think it's intentional, like at least subconsciously. It's like, oh yeah, we're recording. So like I got all this stuff to prep, and then like, oh yeah, beer. And then you're like, dude, why am I fucking wasted? Anyway.
I like to think it's why I take my coffee black. I like the full effect of the beverage.
Yeah, we'll go with that. That sounds good. As does your beer. I'm really proud of you for starting the year off hazy.
That's right.
And
I could have picked a Pilsner.
Thank
I
God.
didn't.
Thank God. I'm glad you didn't, but that would have been true to your form.
That's right.
This one that I have, I am excited for. I've not had, well, I had one of these yesterday, so I already know it's very fucking good. But I was unfamiliar with the brewery. If you guys listened to the last episode, episode 60, I am now in Pennsylvania, the home state. So there's a lot of new breweries and things to try here, which I'm stoked for. This year, we're starting off with a sour. It's been a minute since I've had any type of sour, so I'm super stoked. But this one is from Aslin Beer Co. And they're based out of Virginia, but I found out that they just recently opened up a brew pub here in Pittsburgh, so I'm pretty stoked for that. But what I have is one called Volcano Sauce.
Hell yeah.
Hold up the can for everyone watching. For everyone listening, it's very simple, and the hop wolves know, like, I like overly complicated things, which is how my life is most of the time. But I've been really digging simplistic and minimalistic labels, and I really like the colors on this one. It's red, yellow, and blue, and that's pretty much it. And it's got like 3 drops in the middle with some blue off to the side, and the lava, I guess, is in the middle. It almost kind of looks like a Pueblo or like an Aztec type design.
I get that vibe too. Yeah, it almost kind of looks like a widow's peak on the back of a spider.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was what drew me to this, other than like the description of the sour, which it is 6% ABV, and it's made with blackberries, blueberries, milk sugar, and vanilla. So I already knew I was going to like it. Like, that's a recipe for success. And I'm going to open it. I don't have any, my glasses are all still packed away. So we're just gonna raw dog it here out of the can. But I can tell you that when I poured it out yesterday in a nice wine glass, it was a really nice dark red, which makes sense with blackberries and blueberries. So yeah, I'm gonna finagle here. We're gonna open her up, take a sip on recording here.
Dude, I'm stoked for this, man. Those flavors sound amazing.
Dude, as soon as you pop that bad boy open, it's just busting at the seams with the smell. The nose is amazing. Like, I feel like I can smell all the ingredients in there.
Almost
Probably
like,
not the milk sugar.
Almost like you're in a field picking the berries.
I feel that I'm on the Counterparts, a eulogy for those still here cover, picking berries, drinking beer, but then like taking a nice lava bath after it, because be like, fuck it, whatever. That's cool. I had a good beer. I'm good. So let's get one on the palate here.
I was gonna say, man, that description just sounds metal.
Dude, it's so good.
Would you say berry good?
I would say berry good.
Nice.
Oops, all berries. Captain Crunch. I get what you're getting at now. I'm going to say some weird shit today too. I can already feel it. Anyway, I love this beer. It's phenomenal. Would absolutely get it again. And I think that's how we started doing the beer reviews last year, I should say. Is whether we drink it again or not, instead of like out of 5 or out of 10.
Yeah, because our rating system is bullshit.
It's just bullshit. We make the joke all the time. It is like, whose line is it anyway? If the Hop Wolves are familiar with that show, if not, get familiar. The ratings don't matter. Would 100% drink this again. This is my second one. I wish I had more. I get all the flavors, dude. And what's really nice is that it's still very, very sour. Even though it has the milk sugar in there and the vanilla to smooth it out, you still get a lot of nice tartness to it, mainly on the back end. And it's very fruit forward. Again, the blackberries, the blueberries, and honestly, the vanilla, like, I get all of those flavors in here. I smell most of them too, so the nose is on point. Can't fault it, dude. And at 6%, like, I could have quite a few of these and not get sick of it.
Dude, that's actually why I like the ABV on this beer too. It's like a nice little pocket of like not too much.
That's the thing, dude. Is like sometimes you just want that nice mid-range like a little bit more crushable, definitely more drinkable and palatable. And yeah, 6%. That's nice. I'm here for it. And the sip I just took, one more note, is like I could kind of feel the vanilla like just hanging out and like the middle of my tongue, which was really cool. So it's like really fruit forward with the vanilla smoothing it out, and then it's tart on the back end. I don't know. It's an adventure. It's a journey. We're here for journeys, as the Hop Wolves know. A eulogy for those still drinking beer. Here we are, 2023.
Let's
Cheers.
go. Cheers to that.
So since we both have beers that we're really enjoying,
Yes.
Let's keep it moving, dude, and get into like what we're going to be excited for and what we're kind of hoping for in the upcoming year. And a lot of this, kind of like we did with the year-end wrap-up, it's the things that come to mind that we're going to be talking about, because that's what happens is sometimes it just gets like too over-researched, too, for lack of a better term, too overproduced. So we're trying to keep it, again, loosey-goosey, baby. But with that being said, why don't we get into like who you're most excited to hear from, I should say, and like who's on your radar for the year?
So I'm going to start off with this band because they're already an album of the year contender for me. And they dropped today.
What is the 6 days?
6 days in. The band Frostbit with 2 T's at the end. I don't know how to describe their sound other than saying, imagine. Well, they kind of do it for themselves in their own description on their bio, but it's like mixing nu metal with thal with mathcore.
Okay.
But hear me out.
Interesting.
So picture the band like Sixth, Sikth. Mix that with System of a Down, mix that with Korn, mix that with Static X, and then mix that with Vilharda, and that's what you get.
Yeah, that's a lot to process.
But dude,
that sounds sick.
Yeah, they make it work for me so much. I don't know. I'm gonna give a glowing review when we get to our albums of the day. But I was just enamored with this new album that they dropped. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but keep them on your radar. I'm shocked I didn't know about them earlier. This is their 3rd album, so they're 3 albums deep already, and they just dropped this heat at the beginning of the year, 6 days in, and I'm already like, man, I don't know how anyone's going to top this. So,
okay,
again, Frostbit, all one word, 2 T's at the end for the bit part. Go listen to that album. I think it's called, let me just say the album title so people have an easier time looking it up. It's called Machine Destroy. It's got a little robot head on it. It kind of makes me think of the Iron Giant a little bit, but
so Vin Diesel's on the album.
Yes.
Nice. Hell yeah.
All he says is Machine Destroy.
And family.
And family. But they're huge on my list right now. Again, this just happened within 24 hours. I was enamored with their album, and I was like, okay, you have my attention. This is a underground band, but they should be blowing up. Omerta is on my radar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what their new album's going to sound like. Their live shows are insane.
Yes.
I wish to see them live. We're kind of, again, loosey-goosey. We're going to kind of talk about bands we wish to see live. They are one of them. In Fear.
Yes.
Very big Loathe vibes with them, which I'm all here for. It's kind of like Deftones mixed with even nastier, filthy deathcore.
Yeah,
in a way.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I love that sound. I love just the dichotomy of almost Deftone vocals mixed with deathcore. I'm here for it. Another band, this is recent, Pale Sky. They just came out with the EP. I love the music that they're creating. I think it's fresh sounding. Just not what you'd expect. Very much you go into each song not knowing where it's going to go next. And I love that because that just keeps it interesting. It's not like, oh, I've heard this before.
Right.
So really big on them right now. I would say of old, I'm very actually interested to see what Lorna Shore does next.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Coming off of my top albums from 2022, I'm very curious to see what Synestia does next, because I think they're a name of contention within that same subgenre. I don't know how Tom Barber is still doing things, but I'm very curious to see what the hell is going to come next for not only, Darko US, but Chelsea Grin. We're going to get a new album from Chelsea Grin here soon. So it's just like,
yep.
I'm not ready for it, but we're gonna experience it as it comes.
Not to mention, Darko just dropped an EP.
Yes, dude. Like, I can't keep up in a way, but I love everything that they're producing. I actually really love the industrial vibes, the robotic sounds, the futuristic aspects to what they're doing. I'm very curious to see if that's maybe a jumping off point of what we're going to hear next. Very curious to see Gnosis, which is Rio. His new band. So he left Crystal Lake and now has started his own project. And he really liked what Darko US did on their latest EP. So I wonder if that's churning the gears in his head on what his sound is going to be. And we kind of got that a little bit with Helix. So
yeah, that album's sick.
Yeah, very much wondering what's going to happen with all that. Other than that, I'm always, a fan of Acacia Strain. I love the direction they've recently taken with their sound. So, and we got a new single from them before the end of the year. So
yeah,
still
killing it.
Yeah, I don't think they can do any wrong, but I'm very curious now. What is the next step for them? We'll see. I could keep naming. We love so many bands. I could keep naming more, but those definitely are on top of mind right now for me.
I think those are all super sick suggestions and bands, old and new, to keep on the lookout for the upcoming year. And to your point with the Acacia Strain, I'm also very excited for the new one. Especially because I think at this point they know it works, but they can still experiment with things that they did with It Comes in Waves type of deal, and it's still that Acacia sound. Vincent, even though he seems in a much better headspace and is doing very well in life, can still churn out the super pissed off imagery and the lyricism. One of the best in the game for sure.
Yeah, I think he's going to still use music for catharsis rather than talking about happy things.
And I would be so upset if he did start talking about happy things. I do want him to be happy. Yes. I do not want that for the Acacia Strain, though. I'm going to start off with some older bands. And what I mean by old is bands that I've been a fan of for multiple years. There's the new To the Grave album coming out, director's cut.
Great choice.
I have been loving To the Grave. I love To the Grave.
Nice.
Through and through. Todd put these guys on my radar really not that long ago, but it was probably 2 or 3 years ago. And they just keep churning out some of the stupidest, heaviest shits that one can possibly imagine. Australia, that scene at its peak right there.
Let's just say we love your state. Or not your state, your continent. Everything about Australia.
Everything about it, dude. One day we'll get there. We keep saying that. Please bring us over there somehow.
Yes, please.
But yeah, to the Grave, their new album, director's cut, coming out. I am so stoked for it. And it's not that far away. I think it's in February that it's coming out. Super stoked for that. The new Distant coming out.
Yes.
Been a big fan of them over the years. And the singles that they've been putting out, like Exo Filth, is just filth itself, dude. It's so stupid heavy, and I love it. I love the lore that Aslin and Co has with the band.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see how that progresses. And then this one we haven't talked about in a while. Or really ever on this show, but Todd and I are both big fans of the band Silent Civilian,
Yes.
which is, I guess like 2000s metalcore ish.
In a way, yeah, it kind of coming off the heels of like the new American metal wave in a way.
Yeah.
But like Johnny Santos is very much more on the big chorus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, for sure. That's what we always say whenever we hear that.
It's our catchphrase.
Yeah. But yeah, this is an old school band, which is so weird to say. Like I was just talking to someone about this the other day. It was my wife, of course, Skylar. Shout out to her. We were in the car with my mother-in-law. And we were listening to I Declare War.
Amazing.
And I was like, dude, this shit's dad metal now at this point. So it's weird that we're in that pivotal age where we're not super old, but we're not super young either. But anyway, I bring that up because Silent Civilian's been around for a long time, and even before that, Johnny Santos was in Spineshank, which is another super sick. That's definitely new metal. But really excited for Silent Civilian. Some newer bands though that I am really stoked for, and these ones just popped into my head. Demon Fuck. I love everything that band has been doing.
Dude, the music videos to not only their music is just so entertaining and so heavy.
It is. Especially, I gotta think of the last track that they put out the video for, but they're just in a pool of blood.
Yes.
Play.
And they had a clip on social media where the drummer was like, "This sucks so much to play drums in water." And I'm like, I can imagine.
Dude, I don't know how they managed to pull that off. I mean, I know how they did it, but very impressive. Can't wait for that band. Another one in a similar vein. These are all kind of the same, actually. Is Gorfinage.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they're making some of the weirdest, heaviest shit I've heard in a long time, and that name is phenomenal.
Dude, to me, it's like taking a B horror movie and making a soundtrack to it in a way, and just bringing the elements of like slam filth to it. Like,
yeah. And not to mention their mascot looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes.
So it's like Five Nights at Freddy's mixed with Chuck E. Cheese imagery, but then like shit like Demon Fuck is putting out. It's just stupid heavy. It's brutal as fuck. Motherfuckers. And they haven't done that much, so I'm really hoping that they're doing more this year.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I just found at the end of 2022, so last year, have to make that joke once, is Furious George, which just is another amazing name.
Yes.
And their description on Spotify is fucking hilarious too. It's something like they're from Australia, so of course that's already a check mark. But it's like we're a 3-piece that's like broke and like mentally fucked. It's something like that. I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
I can relate to a lot of that.
Absolutely. And that alone drew me in, but what they're creating sonically is amazing. So, and again, they haven't done like that much. They're a pretty new band within the last like year or two. So excited for that. And then of course we can't not talk about the Big Six, dude.
Oh my God. Yes.
This has been anyone that's in the scene, I'm sure has heard about this, but the Big Six, which has already made slight changes to it, is essentially like the boy band supergroup of deathcore. So you have Will, of course, from Lorna Shore, and then
Joey
Taylor,
Bad. Yeah,
Joey Bad from Fit, Taylor Barber from Left to Suffer, Dickie Allen from Scumfuck and Infinite Annihilator, Tyler Sheldon from Traitors, and recently appointed Darius Tarani from Spite, taking over for Franz from Attila, which I think that was like the biggest issue with the Big Six, is that as much as Franz is a fantastic vocalist, definitely the outlier of the group, and he stepped down recently. He is a busy man. He had a video explaining all this between family life, Stay Stick, and Attila's recording new stuff, which is exciting. He stepped down to focus on all that, but I'm pretty sure it's just because like no one was here for it. because in the vein of like all those vocalists,
Yeah.
again, Franz is the outlier, even though he is a sick vocalist.
We love
Darius
him here.
is,
Yeah.
we do. Not everything, like he's of course done questionable things,
Yeah.
no doubt. But overall, still fans of Attila, still fans of Franz. But Darius is definitely a better fit for the Big Six, and I'm excited for that. And also, like, exactly what it's going to sound like, because people are like, well, we know the vocals are going to be good, but like, how's it going to sound musically? So
That's true.
question.
Actually, no, that's
Fair question.
That is such a fair. I haven't thought about that at all. Who is doing the instruments?
No fucking idea. So the only thing
nameless folks that contributed to the project.
I'm at this point, I'm convinced that the guy from Sweetwater, the one that's kind of putting all this on, is like, this is just him getting in like any type of musicianship that he can, like, to this caliber. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But I mean, those are all top tier vocalists in the game. We'll see.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you brought that up. And another band I actually just thought of is to keep on your radar is Enterprise Earth, because I'm in love with that new single, Death Magic.
Yeah.
That new vocalist they got, goddamn. I still think he's contributing to his other bands.
He's got like, I think he's in 3 other bands.
Yeah. One other I definitely know of is The Willow, which just as good. But this 7-minute banger that they dropped on us to begin the year, it seems like they target January just to be like, think about us when you start your new year. I can't stop listening to it. It's perfect on a loop, and it's just shout out to Gabe, really.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Because the construction of that song is just perfect. And yeah, that's a contender for top song of the year, because already they're setting the tone for the year.
I read on Instagram that Gabe was talking about like how he kind of came to it being 7 minutes. He's like, I didn't intend for it to be like that, but he was like, and I'm paraphrasing, so keep that in mind. But something along the lines of he just kind of lets the song like write itself, essentially. So he's like, if it calls for 7 minutes, it calls for 7 minutes. Like, you want to try to write these like 3-minute bangers, but sometimes it's just not enough. And I think this is a perfect example. Like, it doesn't feel like 7 minutes when you listen to it. It is a journey, as you guys know, the Hop Wolves. We love journeys. And yeah, dude, I had to wear my Enterprise Earth long sleeve for recording to them. Like, it just makes sense, dude. They are phenomenal live, and they are only getting better. As much as I miss Dan's still doing things with Meyer Lore, so that's exciting. And but Travis,
he's recently been teasing some stuff, so
yeah. So I mean, Dan Watson is not done in the game for sure. A very unique vocal style, but if anyone was going to take over, Travis Warland is a great fucking get for that band. Basically, Enterprise Gabe at this point. But that's okay.
Regardless, we're excited to hear what's full length from them, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what to talk about next, man. We kind of covered a few bases here, but what would you consider maybe bands on the glow up?
All right. Bands on the glow up. So what we're talking about here, if the Hop Wolves are unfamiliar, I'm going to mansplain for 1 second here. As far as it's just that's basically like people we want to see flourish, bands we want to see flourish in the scene. So a lot of these are coming off of our favorites from last year. So I mean, that's a pretty easy transition. The ones I have down are the Archaic Epidemic, and I'm gonna kind of lump these two together, even though they are different bands, of course, but them and Disembodied Tyrant, they're in the same pocket. That's why I am kind of including them, this blackened deathcore or symphonic deathcore, whatever you want to fucking call it. But I think that these are two of the bands that are doing the best in that pocket, and I can't wait to see what they have next. They released two phenomenal EPs, both of our favorites, some of our favorites from last year. I would love to catch these guys live. So I can't wait to see them, and hopefully they get onto some pretty sick tours because they would fit nicely in a lot of those types of packages. I could see him being on there with like Lorna or like Worm Shepherd or something like that.
Easily.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Easily. And then another one who they have their part 2 coming out pretty soon. That's Downer Part 2 is 1056. And a lot of these guys have been around in the scene for a long time, but this is still a pretty new band. Big fan of Aaron Matz, his vocal style, and just everything that this band is doing sonically. They've got that new metal type deal going on, and that's really just code for like any type of experimentation in the music. But like you can also hear like the pain behind the lyricism and the music, which I don't want that for the people, but I absolutely fucking love hearing sonically. So those guys are already like, they're pretty big just because of like, again, them being in the scene for a long time. I know they're in a lot of other bands, which off the top of my head could not tell you other than Aaron being from Betraying the Martyrs. But I loved Downer Part 1. I can't wait to hear the second part. I mean, we've gotten a little bit of a taste with like Yenta and RLS, I believe, was another one. That was a little bit of a slower track. But yeah, those three, I think, are going to be doing amazing things this year. And I can't wait to see them continue to, as Todd says, get the flower. Deserve the flower? What do you always say? I say that and I don't even remember what it is.
I think it's deserve. I'm trying to think. Yeah, these beers are hitting us, guys. Yeah, they deserve their flowers because they've been deprived of them for so long. So yeah, they deserve those flowers for sure. I agree with all those picks. I want to see what they do next. I want to see them thrive. For my 3, I have Synestia. So this is kind of riding off the coattails of what Arie was talking about. This is a top band from a list from last year for me. I personally like their record better than Lorna's and Awaken Providence, even though
Amazing.
I absolutely love those other 2 albums. I love what this particular band is doing. So I am very curious and excited to see what they do next. So hopefully we get new music from Synestia this year. I have to believe so.
Yeah.
Past them, this is a band I actually got to see live because I went to go see Great American Ghost, which I'm actually kind of curious to see what they do next. But this band opened for them, Hazing Over from PA, mind you. They are very much aware of the bands that we like from PA, including Fall Off the Earth and Befell. Really big fans of those bands.
Yep.
But Hazing Over, their guitar is absolutely amazing, very creative. Keeps you guessing on what's going to come next in the song, and I'm very curious to see what they do next, especially at full length, because I think we've only gotten an EP from them as far as a collection of songs. But beyond them, I'm very curious to see what Mr. Taylor Barber does with Left to Suffer. I love who he is as a person. And I love that he incorporates so many things that you wouldn't expect, because I feel like he's very forward-minded thinking on like what to do that's different. And that's what I love about that band in particular, is because they're always, you don't know what to expect with them, and you don't know if you're going to get some clean singing from him, which he can do, or his filthy voice that is his scream. Who knows? But I am very excited to see what they do next. And we've gotten EPs from them. It was kind of like a back-to-back EP that they did this last cycle, but now I'm ready for a full length from Left to Suffer. So I'm I think they're going to bring their A game. I just don't know what they're going to do. It's almost in the same vein when I talk about Darko is when they involve rappers sometimes, when they involve cleans. I just don't know what Left to Suffer is going to do, and that excites me. So very much looking for their glow up.
Yeah, and especially because the last few tracks that they put out are pretty different.
Mm-hmm.
They're still heavy, but I have to think of the producer that they worked with, but I think it's the same guy that works with like the Foo Fighters a lot. And it was like more mainstream rock acts that they were working with.
I know he got involved with a guy from 3 Days Grace. Like what?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yes. So that in itself, keep in mind, like, you know, you're looking at like really catchy big choruses, which the last ones, I honestly don't remember if they incorporated them or not.
To be honest, even though I know he can sing, I don't know if he has in Left to Suffer's discography.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, same here. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a time that he has actually sang in a song, but I'm open to it. I know it's kind of like people look down upon it within the genre that is deathcore, but fuck you.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like Whitechapel did it amazingly, so it can be done.
Yeah, and not only can it be done, it can be done very well, and people are receptive to it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, not always.
Just don't go to deathcore forums, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Use your own opinions. Listen to what you listen to. That's what's up. But to Todd's points with Taylor and the Left to Suffer boys, there's a reason why Taylor is in the Big Six. I mean, he's a great vocalist, and the band hasn't been around for that long.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing great things. So, with that being said, we're going to move into who we would like to see live this year.
That's right.
Since we have been blessed with live music for about a year or so now, year and a half, it's still kind of weird to be back into a venue, but it's a great feeling. And it seems like people, at least in smaller shows, have been able to like make it out and like really give it their all, which is fucking dope. I'll start us off with some newer bands that I would like to see. There's so many that we covered here on Brewtal.
Cheers,
too many. Like it's too overwhelming to think about it. That's why we're keeping it to just about 3 for each of us. But the ones that pop into my head, the first 2 are actually going to be on tour very fucking soon, and I'm trying to get there because it's such a stacked lineup. I'm talking about Carcosa and Fox Lake.
Oh hell yeah!
It's no surprise. I'm a big fucking slut for Carcosa. Love that band. Todd got me one of my favorite hoodies from them from last year for my birthday, which if I wasn't wearing this Enterprise Earth one, was probably the Carcosa one. But this is their first tour that they're doing, which is sick. And the whole lineup, it's Within Destruction. They're the headliner coming off of their Lotus album, which is very different for Within Destruction if you're fans of that band, but still very good. You just have to be kind of a little bit more open-minded with the direction that they're going in.
Yeah, expect more cleans.
A lot more cleans, and Brewtal alum, actually Carcosa and Within Destruction. Very fortunate for both of those. But they were incorporating a lot of like hip-hop and rap elements, like 808s on the track and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So they're doing a lot of really cool things, but it is not like Death Wish era.
Yeah, what they used to be. Yep.
So keep that in mind. If anything, it's a lot more like what they were doing with Yokai. Anyway, it's Within Destruction. Carcosa is going to be on there. Victims, which is another band I'd like to see.
Yes, hell yeah, great choice.
Distinguisher, dude, was going to be on this tour, but like at the end of the year, they like not even half, 3/4 of the band have decided to step down. I'm not exactly sure why.
Yeah, there's kind of very murky waters on the reason.
It's almost like what happened to Last 10 Seconds of Life.
Dude, I was going to bring them up because it is kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? And they ended up releasing an EP before the end of the year, which is crazy.
And it was fucking good, too.
It was good, yeah.
So that very sad Distinguisher would have been up there for me to see live. I know there's still a band, but it's just one person right now. So anyway, Carcosa and Fox Lake are very much up there. I hope to go to that tour. And then my other one for new would be Alpha Virus, because holy fuck, I cannot imagine how crazy those shows are going to be. Just violence out the fucking ass. And then I just wanted to include a couple older bands, like actually older bands, because there's a lot of 20-year anniversaries. We're in that time frame now. But El Nino has a 20-year anniversary of their Confession album, which is one of my favorites.
Damn, I hate you, bro.
Yeah. Dude. Oh, I want to see that front to back. I wish Christian was still in the band.
True.
But that's okay.
True. Yeah. The new guy they got, though, is a good guy.
He is a good guy. He brings a lot to the El Nino family, the familia. I want to see that. I want to see Chimera do The Impossibility of Reason front to back. That's 20-year coming up this year.
Fuck yeah.
Another favorite. And then recently reunited It Dies Today is playing at Furnace Fest this year in like September, I think, or August.
First off, what? I didn't know about this.
You didn't know about that?
No.
Oh, fuck, dude. Yes.
Oh,
yeah, dude. They're back, at least playing this one show. Wow, I'm really excited that you didn't know that.
I don't want to miss that. I don't even know how I can make it. God. Talk about a throwback, dude. Man.
I think it just got to the point where people just kept asking for them to come back and wanting to it. And not to mention that like Brendan Murphy from Counterparts has been so vocal about like how much he loves that band that like, I don't know, I feel like that has something to do with them coming out of retirement. Whatever it is, don't care, want to see it. The Catalyst Choir is an amazing peak metalcore.
I think that album changed the game personally because it brought the choruses, equal parts heavy, and like it to me defined metalcore in that time period to a T. Like
yes,
yeah, the Caitiff Choir. It's the album with the big clock. We don't really know how to say Caitiff, or I don't know.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
We're not good with pronunciation. Y'all should know this.
A good deep cut, Funeral Pyre. Go listen to that shit.
I mean, you can't go wrong with any of their albums, but that's the one. If you're going to listen to one album, it should be that one. Threnody of Modern Romance is... listen to it and tell me that shit is not like perfect.
Yeah.
Love that track.
The whole album is perfect in my opinion. What's funny though is the EP or album they had before that, it's got like a scarecrow on it.
Mm-hmm.
So much heavier. So if you're like, I don't like the singing, go to the earlier stuff because it just slaps you in the face.
Oh, just so good. Like I listen to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to all of them. That's really it. But those three I would love to see. But those are my picks for the year. If I can go to any shows, those are them. What do you got for us, homie?
First of all, I don't know how to top It Dies Today, but for newish bands, this is like nothing that's past 20 years. I certainly want to see a Bad Omens live. I've never seen them live. I absolutely love their latest album. I love the direction that they're going in. They're becoming more unique sounding because they've always had the Bring Me the Horizon comparisons. But I would just love to me, it's like when I saw Yellow Card, it's I'm going to know all the
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm going to know all the choruses to the song. I just want to be in that moment with that band. Another one that comes to mind, I brought them up earlier, Frostbit. They're my newfound love for 2023. So I really want to see them live to go along with this album that they just dropped, which I can't wait to talk about even more later on. And then Snakefather. They're my local Austin. I owe them an apology because it's been years that I've been a big fan. I have their t-shirt on right now, and I just need to see them live because
It's not funny anymore.
Yes, it's I have talked the talk. Now I need to walk the walk. So
No, you need to slither, motherfucker.
this serpentine pattern into that crowd, into that pit.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of any older bands, kind of in the vein of how you talked about. I wish I caught Mudvayne. If there's new music from them, I hope they tour on it, and if that's the case, I want to see them live.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't bring this up. God forbid. I would love to see them live.
Oh yeah.
Because they're doing shows now. That's golden age of new American metal. Yeah, I would say those two. Mudvayne and God forbid would be fantastic.
Yeah, dude. The only another one, since you said that, in the same vein as the new wave American heavy metal, would love to see Shadows Fall.
Oh my God, yes.
Never got to see them in their heyday, but would love to see them now.
And they're on the cusp of, will they or won't they make new music? Is this just a live thing? Who's to say? But our fingers crossed for either, because it's only a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. War Within is up probably top 10 albums for me, but neither here nor there. Yeah, those are sick. The Bad Omens thing, I laugh only because like I've seen this trend on TikTok where it's like took my date to see Bad Omens, and it's always like something really stupid, and it's one of my favorite trends.
Here's what I promise to the listeners. I know Bad Omens is kind of getting further from metal, if you will, but I just want to be that fangirl.
Yeah.
In the crowd, just shouting my lungs out with the chorus. Is just, I love a good chorus. That's a motivating factor for me because I love bands' lyrics so much, and when it's a good chorus, it just is a perfect pairing. So I'm just giddy about the experience.
They can go hard too. Like they, as much as they want this album to be like the defining one, like for their new sound, which rightfully so, because they really came into their own with The Death of Peace of Mind. But dude, there's some bangers on their first two albums, like some heavy tracks.
Dude, the whole build up to that second to last track, it's fleeting my mind right now on what the title of that song is, but I'm here for it, man. The music video is fantastic. Like, I want to see that live.
Well, maybe you can be the fangirl in the next TikTok trend for Bad Omens, their friend.
So that's what I was going to promise earlier. I won't do a TikTok.
Well, no, you have to do one now because we're talking about
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can have Shannon, like, go with her, but, like, you have to be the one, like, at the bar or, like, doing something stupid while they're playing.
What's funny about that is she's like, this band sounds like breakup music. And I'm like, don't get the wrong impression.
I'm sad, okay?
I'm just a sad boy who needs to be in my feelings right now in between breakdowns. So just let me have this.
Breakdowns, breakups, what's the difference? Am I right? But so again, with that being said, we're going to kind of circle back a little bit before we get into the albums and our certified brutal bangers. We're going to talk about like 3 things that we'd like as far as beer trends go to see this year. Why don't you start us off there, Finn?
So one trend I actually want to see, so this is my own bias, is I'm actually I want to see more breweries involve flavors like spice with a beer or something like that. I want to see a little bit more creativity when it comes to the staples, like an IPA, pale ale. I just want to like a little twist on something. That's definitely a trend I want to see. And I believe it's possible because if you can do it to liquor, you can do it to beer. Yeah. Other than that, I kind of want, because I've actually weaned off a little bit of drinking. So I'm very curious to see where non-alcoholic beers go. I want to see that boundary pushed because I want to actually try that avenue just to test it out. Because I do enjoy everything about craft beer, but like certainly we're not going to turn a blind eye to the detriments of alcohol. But this is just a new territory now to explore, and I want to see that being pushed further. So I'm very curious to see where that goes to this year. Other than that, I'm trying to think of a certain beer style I want to see improved upon. I'm going to say the pale ale. I want to see the pale ale be championed again this year and be bettered. I want this to be the peak of the pale ale.
Kind of contradicting with what you said with like the more spices and incorporating different flavors. Like you just don't see a lot of like clean pale ales or like clean IPAs or anything like that. So not a slight to you. I just I think that is cool. Like two opposites that I think would be really cool to see some headway in the new year here. And of course the NA beer is huge. Yeah, we can't, like Todd said, we can't not talk about like there's a lot of negative things that go with drinking and alcohol. So definitely don't vibe with that stuff, but it would be cool to see like there's been a lot of headway with NA beers over the last couple of years. So that would be cool to see like exactly where that heads with the upcoming year. For what I would like to see, and I kind of did a little bit of research as to what like other people in the industry would be like, but this is also something that I would personally like to see. I really like these 19.2 beers coming out. Like we've had them on the show a couple of times. So like stuff that you see at the gas station or like baseball games or something like that. I used to hate that size, but now I kind of get it and I like it. I want more of it.
Is this the bottles?
No. So it's in between. They're still cans, but like they're not your pounders. They're just a little bit bigger than that, but they're not your tall boys. So they're like in between there.
Okay.
And it's usually with like craft stuff.
Okay. I actually didn't know about this. So you're enlightening me.
You've definitely picked them up before. You do know about them, but like maybe
I just
not,
wasn't
like,
paying attention. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, I guess like some consider it like a tall boy, but they are like I said, like a lot of times at gas stations when you get like a bigger can, that's what that is.
So it's we're talking about 19.2 fluid ounces. Is that what we're talking
yes.
about? Okay.
Yep.
So for comparison, just to show people who are watching, this is a 16-ounce can. So this is, you would call it a tall boy. So an even taller boy is what Arie is referencing.
Yeah. I like that a lot of breweries are incorporating like their staple beers into it. But it is kind of cool because like if I want just like a beer, that's like about a beer and a half. So like that's still pretty cool. And like I'm okay with that. I would just like to see more of that, basically. And then I'd also like to see like a more concentrated beer style per brewery. And what I mean by that is like not having like everything in the kitchen sink, like at a brewery, like having your lagers, your pilsners, your ales, your IPAs, like there's one of everything. Like I would like to have like a brewery like just do sours or like just do IPAs. I think that's kind of cool. And this was a trend that I found online. I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but basically like I like having like a more condensed. It's just really like an extension of like my own life, and what I want to do is like try to keep things simple and in a smaller pocket, basically. So like going to a brewery and not being like overwhelmed with 30 different choices. Like if you had like 10 solid ones, I'd be stoked with that.
That actually makes me think of a brewery here called Brewtal, although they're actually doing the opposite of what you hope for, because they've only done sours and now they're venturing into doing other beers. So I fully agree with you, though. I kind of think it goes into the direction of like a brewery focusing more on a certain style, which excites me because then that might spiral into what I talked about is they might experiment more within that one style.
Right. Could be cool. I mean, you look at even just like your traditional beers from Belgium, from Germany, like it's a lot of times like it's no frills. Like you're getting a Belgian, you're getting a like a Doppelbock or something like that. Like you know exactly what you're getting from this brewery because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's kind of cool. So I'd like to see that. And then a beer style that I really love and I feel like I don't see a lot. So I don't know, there might be more than I know about are white stouts. I just love having the same stout profile, but looking at the beer and it seeming like a lager. So I kind of like the little mystique that's going on with it.
Yeah.
And dude, they're really cool. I love them, but I don't see them that often. And I would like to see more of them, basically.
I think that's a great choice because I actually don't know too much about them, and that says something. Like I feel like there's a market out there for it. Like let's make more of it.
Let's do it. Can thank us, Hop Wolves, if you see more white stouts. Cool. So that's kind of what we're looking for, beer wise this year, and also music wise. But let's get into what has actually dropped. So it is 2023. We've already established that. There's already been quite a few bangers within a week of it being 2023. So, Todd, why don't you start us off with the albums that dropped today? And what we're trying to do, of note, again, trying to be more concise and condensed with every episode. We're keeping it to 10 each, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're gonna pick our essential top 10, if you will, but for the playlist, it's how it's ranked. Just so y'all know, it's the like heaviest song, and then it kind of goes down from there. But we try to make it flow within the different genres, just so that it's not too abrasive when it transitions. But essentially, we're trying to pick the heaviest songs of the day, and that goes with the albums too. But to max out at the 10, sometimes we pick softer albums, including EPs. So just so what catches our attention, what we enjoyed. Again, that's a big theme when we talked about our Brewtal rap. What we actually enjoyed, we're going to put out there because sort of with this podcast, we want to be a big positive voice in the scene of just who we're really digging. We're not really going to throw shade at anyone. We're not going to shit talk anyone. We just want to really promote what we're digging and make it a positive experience for everyone.
Yes. That's some James Joyce shit.
That's right. With that, what we have today, 4 albums that dropped. Number 1, and this is alphabetical order for albums. We start with Conjoined Twin Octopus. I had to get that name right because you're just like, what?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I've never heard of this band before, but they just came out their EP, The Infinite Pregnancy, which is a great album title for an EP. Go check them out. Next, we have Fathers. That's Father plural. Very simple band name, but the album title is He Who Greets the Fire, which I really like. Then we have Frostbit, who I talked about before. They just released their 3rd album, Machine Destroy. Again, it's got a little robot head on it, so you can find that visually. Then we have Graviton. Arie turned me onto this. Their album is called The Reaping of Eternity. You said this has Barbarossa members, or a member from Barbarossa in it.
Yeah, one of the current singers of Barbarossa. This is his side project. That's Reese Peters.
That's what's up. So that's on our radar. We also have How All This Ends. That's the band name, and they dropped an EP called Amounting to Nothing. After that, we have Pale Sky. I mentioned them. They just released their EP Year 1. Then we have Then It Ends, which I thought was kind of funny with the other band.
Yeah.
So the band is Then It Ends, and they dropped a new EP called Chasm. After that, we have Toxicon, which I learned through their bio. They've been around for a little bit, but they just released a new album called Be the Fire and Wish for the Wind. Really like that album title.
That's cool.
After that, I'm going to spell this one out, but I'm also going to say it's called Volcatar. So it's Valkitar. And they just released their album Mother Cries. And then last but not least, Wisdom and War. So this is like a more hardcore type band. They just released their album Superior Design. So really excited for all these bands. They're starting off the new year right. Again, I can only talk so much about Frostbit. I really love that combo of flavors of genres that they're putting into that band. Again, think System of a Down, think Korn, but mixed with Vilharta, Thal, anything Thal, like new metal, Thal, mathcore. Those are kind of the three main genres in this package, and I love it so much. Another standout was that Graviton, and it's a little hard to find on Spotify, so definitely make sure you put in Graviton and then the Reaping of Eternity, and you'll find them. But yeah, very excited that he's doing a side project because it is just as good as Babarusa. Other than that, Arie, why don't you hit us with this playlist?
Yes, absolutely. The certified brutal bangers that we have this week. Of course, we could not start it off with Death Magic from Enterprise Earth. Next, we have In Gloom with Thirsting Blade, Dark Excalibur, Mega Genesis.
I hate how long that title is.
I thought it was a typo at first. I was like, wait, is that the fucking, like, is there a feature on there? But no, that's all one.
Yeah.
In Gloom is a sick, nasty fucking band.
Mm-hmm.
So you know it's heavy. Next, we have The Shape, which is from Tarantula FL, so from Florida, featuring Kyle Wheaton of Tactosa. I think both these bands, too, like, when we were talking about bands that like to keep on your radar, I think that these are both two
That's a good
bands
point
to check out.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Tarantula and Tactosa, the Florida scene is fucking thriving, which goes into Scumfuck, also from Florida. That's Dickie Allen's main project other than Infinite Annihilator. They just released one called Degeneration, which is hyphen generation. Next up, we have Dreams of Calpurnia, and that's from Queen Kona. Then we have Eradicate from Disconsolate. Rip Roach, in parentheses, XXX/Ski Mask cover. This is from a band called Spawn. Purest Fire from In Fear, which we had kind of mentioned before. Wounds from The Hero and a Monster, and that's got a feature from the homie in Convictions. That's another really cool band. And then finally, rounding out the CBB, we have War, which stands for We Are Ready. That's in parentheses, and that's Fury of 5. And I think that one's got more hardcore influence, if I'm correct.
Yes, and just to mention that Spawn, that cover is a cover of a rap song, actually. So it's a very heavy version of a rap song.
Nice.
Which is dope, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Again, we're trying to consolidate as much as we can. 10 songs is really hard to pin down. It's easier this early in the year because there hasn't been a ton of releases, but this list is, of course, always fucking fire. Pat ourselves on the back for that. But it's really cool when bands come out swinging this early in the year because we're so used to things coming at the end of the year and be like, well, fuck, dude, like, I can't keep up with this. That you often forget about the ones that come out with some fucking fire. We're actually approaching, was it like Deathcore Day pretty soon within a few weeks last time. It was Enterprise Earth, Worm Shepherd, Fit for an Autopsy. And there's another band too, a big one that released it, but it was like a stupid amount of releases like this early in the year. So it's cool to have the early quarter stuff like that going on.
You know what that makes me think of is like January is such a terrible month for films, but like it's becoming a great month for metal because it's just like let's get the party started. And again, Enterprise Earth is usually that band because they released The Chosen in January or February, I forget, but it was just like that was one of the first ones, and you're like, holy shit, like this is how this year is gonna be. Like, okay.
Absolutely, dude. And with that being said, you guys are gonna be hearing from us a lot more. 2023, we're ready to fucking party. So rip the CBB, dude. Grab a beer or whatever you're going to be drinking, smoking. Take your pick. Cheers. Brewtal 2023.
Cheers,
let's go.
Let's fucking go.